The year is 2007. It's the height of summer in South Korea, and the FIFA Under-17 World Cup is underway, and an unknown talent is emerging. Ghana were facing tournament favorites Germany in a late kickoff, and a confident Ghanaian rising star was handed a place in the starting lineup to face the likes of Alexander Esswein, Sebastian Rudy, and Toni Kroos. But none of those names made a difference. Instead, it was a 5'8" lightning-quick forward who had grabbed the headlines, scoring in a 3-2 defeat. His name was Sadick Adams. The match would turn out to be life-changing for the youngster. His electrifying performance in front of more than 7,000 fans was just the beginning for the teenager. He would go on to score another 3 goals in the competition, guiding Ghana to a 4th-place finish, beating world giants including one other tournament favorites, Brazil, in the round of 16. The 17-year-old's convincing performance in South Korea that summer, and particularly against Spain and Germany, would make him one of the most sought-after young players on the African continent. He possessed incredible amount of speed, technique, and goal-scoring skill that set him apart from his peers at a very young age, and it did not take long before everyone took note. Back then, strong and physical strikers were very popular and most desirable. Remember guys like Adriano, Ronaldo, Drogba, Ibrahimovic, and even Van Nistelrooy. Weeks after the Under-17 tournament concluded in South Korea, Sadick was named the most exciting teenager on the planet by World Soccer magazine, sitting above the likes of, get this, Gareth Bale, Sergio Aguero, Juan Mata, Angel Di Maria, Ivan Rakitic, and Karim Benzema, among others. He was destined for stardom. In one of his interviews, he recounts that moment. "I couldn't believe I was chosen amongst the 50 most exciting teenagers in the world, which included some big names," he said. "To be honest, I was a little bit surprised because during the World Cup, I didn't win any Man of the Match awards or a golden shoe. My country came fourth in the completion. I even missed the 3rd-place playoff match between Ghana and Germany, so when the list came out and I was number 1, that made me feel so proud of myself." Among the clubs to have noticed Adams was Spanish giants Atletico Madrid, and shortly after the tournament in South Korea, they came calling. Adams received a call from an unknown Spanish phone number, and it turned out to be a representative from Atletico Madrid. The next day, the Atleti representative was in Ghana, and he offered Sadick a contract. 3 days later, having obtained a Spanish visa, Sadick Adams was on his way to Madrid, a life-changing opportunity for a 17-year-old Ghanaian teenager, signing for one of Europe's elite clubs. However, since he was still underage, FIFA prevented Adams from fully signing, so Atletico were forced to sign him in their reserve team. At the moment, though, all that mattered for Sadick was the fact that he was now playing for Atletico Madrid, and it would be a matter of time before he signed a full contract and play for the first team. He recalls signing for the Spanish Giants as the best moment of his life in an interview with Eurosports. He continued with his scoring feat, notching 9 goals in 22 appearances for the reserve team. Having impressed with the reserve team, Sadick got the chance to train with the first team, something he could only have dreamed of as a young player in his native Tamale, the 3rd largest city in Ghana. It was at this point that things drastically started going downhill for Sadick. At Atletico, there were lots of star players, he recalls. Before their departure, Kun Aguero and Diego Forlan were around, and I got the opportunity to play a cup match with them. I also joined in a few first-team training sessions. That was the best feeling. I watched all these stars on TV when I was younger, so to train with them was a real dream-come-true moment for me." Just as Sadick was slowly getting ushered into the first team, FIFA struck. They stepped back in, focusing on an issue with his contract, which eventually led to the player received a 4-month ban, ultimately running his Atletico Madrid contract out and forcing him to move back and stay in Africa. But what exactly was wrong with his contract? To find more about it, we will have to go back to a few months before the Under-17 tournament in South Korea. As the teenager was on his way to the tournament, without his knowledge, his father would sign a contract with Tunisian side Étoile du Sahel. At the time, no one could have imagined Sadick could get so much attention from the competition, and since he was underage, his parents had the authority to make the call. They were desperate to get their son playing, and when the chance came, they felt they could take it. Before going to the FIFA Under-17 World Cup in Korea 2007, I signed a pre-contract with a club in Tunisia called Étoile Sportive du Sahel. I was told this contract was not valid because of my age, he said. My parents needed to give a go-ahead. I never knew this when I was away during the World Cup campaign. The club took my father there to finalize everything without my knowledge, so that's where all the problems started. I signed for 2 clubs and was later banned. So a few months later, after the World Cup, when Atletico Madrid came to sign Sadick, he was technically signed by the Tunisian club. That's why, a few months later, Étoile du Sahel would reach out to FIFA disputing the deal and Sadick's contract with Atletico Madrid. Well, FIFA had the chance to sit down and look at the the whole contract scenario and find a better way to handle it, but instead, they chose to deny the youngster the chance to showcase immense potential on the world stage. In May 2009, FIFA ruled that Sadick's move from the Tunisian side to Atletico Madrid was unlawful, and on top of the suspension, he was hit with a $50,000 fine, which was unimaginable at the time. Truth be told, Sadick had not made such a huge sum of money at the time. Just like that, FIFA ripped away Sadick's best opportunity to grow into one of the best strikers of the game. The ban was a devastating blow to the young Ghanaian's dreams and aspirations. It was a huge blow for the striker. After a period of not playing because of the FIFA ban, he eventually moved away from Madrid after struggling to break into the first team, and he ended up in Serbia. I moved away from Atletico to join FK Vojvodina because I wasn't getting first-team minutes, and it was difficult to break through with all the big names, he remembers. I also didn't want to lose my position in the national team by playing for the academy for so many years. I wanted a new challenge, to play in a top league. FK Vojvodina approached me and gave me an offer of playing time, and they also played in the UEFA Cup, so I took that challenge. Adams would play only half a season with the Serbian side, and in his own words, it was the worst experience of his life. He eventually left. That's the worst decision of my career, and I still regret it. I lived in hell because of racism. It was horrible to live this experience for a young African like me. It's not an excuse, but being black, being alone and without family in a foreign country is sometimes very difficult. It didn't work out, so I moved back to Étoile Sportive de Sal again because they were so desperate to have me back, even after all that happened. It all came full circle for the Ghanaian. He went on to score 7 goals in 15 games for the Tunisian First Division side before moving on to try his luck in Cyprus and later Saudi Arabia. He never quite managed to break into a world-class talent after such major setbacks, both mentally and legally, to his career. He would eventually return to Ghana, where he won trophies with Asante Kotoko before joining Ashanti Gold in 2018. Once with the world at his feet after being named the most talented teenager in world football, Sadick is now determined to improve the conditions of Africa's leagues to give future generations a better opportunity and better standards of infrastructure. Despite his career not turning out the way he would have expected after being screwed over by FIFA, Sadick managed to play football in so many pitches and was always a high-level forward, with speed, athleticism, and always had a powerful shot. He might not have attained the levels he wanted or anticipated, but for his efforts to improve football and give youngsters a chance to achieve their dreams, Sadick remains a legend of the beautiful game.